Hiya, welcome back to the channel. And if you're new, welcome too. My name is Hini, spiritual astrologer and tarot reader. And this one is going to be a bit quick, I think, a bit swift. It is the very shortly upcoming new moon in Cancer, which is officially Wednesday, June 25th of this year, 2025. And first of all, new moons. I do have a video on new moons and full moons. You can check that out where I go more in depth on what a new moon is. But in a nutshell, it's like, well, as the name says on the tin, it has this feel, this vibe, or offers experiences or amplifications of new things, newness, and also intensities and zest and zeal. And as I was saying in my Cancer season video, which you should check out if you haven't, I think this Cancer season is going to be one of the best we've had, or one of the most profound, shall we say, for some people, that we've had for quite a few years. And we have this specific new moon in Cancer, during Cancer season, of course, at 4 degrees of the sign of Cancer, exactly, by the way, on my natal moon. And I'm a Cancer rising. But anyway, this new moon is conjunct Jupiter. Jupiter, who I mentioned, is in his exaltation in Cancer, and they're just separate by like 1 degree. So it's a very, very close conjunction. And then we have a square as well around this new moon from Saturn in Aries, and we have Mercury 28 degrees in what I call the boiling point, which is like 27, 28, 29 degrees in the sign of Cancer also. And making this sextile, Mercury is to Uranus, who is currently 29 degrees at the last degree, or the anaretic point, in the sign of Taurus. So soon we will have Uranus finally entering Gemini. And also Mercury makes a square to another Aries body, which is Chiron. And let's not forget about Mars. I wanted to mention Mars here as well. We've got Mars in Virgo, making a sextile exactly to this new moon. So this is like kisses, this is all kinds of love and reciprocity, and just kind of going for it in many ways for many people, with passion or with desire or just with love and affection. There can actually be quite a lot of boy love type of stuff going on. And also, like, I think we should ask these questions, like, for who, or keep asking these questions. For who or for what do you like have or want to have a deep, gentle, kind of dedicated bond? Because this is all the result of this combination of the moon and Jupiter and Cancer, this ocean sign, and this Cancer season, which is a very big karmic type of sign or season. And also things that are like sometimes too good to be true, but there's this lovely side or tinge or takeaway anyway. So I like that for a lot of us. And there's, yeah, an abundance of love, I think, and a kind of yearning and a decency as well that comes through, like emotional decency, can we say that? And reciprocity. This is the sign of the 69, of course. And for some, this is like being the friendly but fair, like, mother type who is there to help with emotional regulation or the tempering of emotions with logic. So that balance that we often have to perform between logic and emotion, but always like understanding that many of us are like children who don't always know of this need for this balance of logic and emotion in the kind of moments of like stimulation or the moment of overwhelm. So it's a lot about, in this motherly way, just kind of understanding or reflecting, or being a beacon, or being inspirational for someone or some situation where there is this blindness to the need for balance. And yeah, we can play a part in helping people with this emotional regulation. Anyway, also connecting with family, with like ancestors through like talismans or trinkets, like sentimental objects, things that you have, these types of item. It can be, you know, you just touch something and you get a call from the owner of that something, or you're looking at a photo of a certain someone and the next day you see them, kind of thing. That can all be very like serendipitous as well. Jupiter, of course, this big god of serendipity, and the joy and the lovely tinge again of these serendipitous things, even if they're short but sweet. And this is also deep illuminations of people's yearnings. So a new moon is a very fresh and zesty type of thing, and it is illuminating like the full moon as well, but in a more kind of like intense inside type of way, or exciting type of way. And it's not like supposed to be heavy or painful, although it can have a lot of these like emotional overwhelms or like welling up, I want to say, of emotions. But it's not like in a full moon kind of in Scorpio sense, or full moon in Cancer sense even. But more like illuminations or understandings of people's yearnings and their desperations. And I watched the Daniel Craig film Queer on Saturday, and there was this scene where Craig's character says something like to this guy Eugene, who he's pursuing, and he says something like, "Let me pay you to be kind to me twice a week." And that really like hit me. That really touched me, that particular like part of the film. And there's some other like really interesting imagery and stuff in the film. There's a snake imagery towards the end as well, like a crying snake kind of eating itself in this figure of eight formation. But yeah, eternal yearnings can be something that is felt very intensely. They can again be this welling over, welling up, but it comes with this like freshness, or it comes with, even if it is for some people like sad or sore, it comes with like, I think, a quick or a burning type of getting over it or getting through it. It's kind of like, you know, when you just have to have a cry and then you feel much better afterwards, that kind of vibe it can be. But it's not supposed to be about like lingering or getting vengeful or wanting to react to a person or a situation, or to like punish yourself for something that's going on. But yeah, eternal yearnings, kind of eating away, I guess, at our habits and pasts and histories, and kind of like growing pains as well, that must be that must kind of go on in some way. For some of us, there's always going to be this like growing pain type of thing or cycle that's not going to end until like you're in your 30s or 40s or 50s, but it will. And maybe you're getting closer and closer to that, but it's also like an emotional process. It's also a process of like having to look at the other with an emotional understanding, with reciprocity as well, and in a way kind of feeling the other side and feeling the reasons for the other's actions and reactions, and growing up from that and growing through that. But yeah, kind of like growing pains, things that must go on or that they are enduring. There can be some unrequited like elements to this new moon. There can be some big, Jupiter's here, the offer of big, huge lessons and big wisdoms, and there can be some big wisdom that has to be learned to do with things like anxious or avoidant attachment, and navigating these different types of attachment, and the kind of therapeutic healing that can be had, or the therapeutic illuminations again that can be had from going to a therapist literally, or researching or reading about how to navigate our own like emotional waves and tides, and those cycles and habits that kind of may have been miring us, or even in some cases torturing us, and it can have this Newman can have this nice effect of finally getting through it, or seeing the kind of the light, if you like, from the bottom of the tunnel. Enduring love, yeah. And there can be, for some people, like stalkers, or like people with stalkery vibes, or people with obsessive vibes, who you're having to understand, or tolerate in some sense. And there's a lot of silence as well in this particular snake year, in Cancer season. There's a lot of silence, and again, big wisdom, and like trying not to be tempted to be the person who has to like vocalize or point out what is going on or being done, and more kind of trying to see that side of like, well, why is this person doing what they're doing? Why did they do what they did? Could be a childhood thing, could be a complex psychological thing, could be trauma, could be so many things. But like, while it's not your job to delve or fix or criticize, there is some sense of this new moon of it being not like a job, but a kind of a necessity to like feel for that other person on some level. That doesn't mean you have to approach or get closer or continue anything, but there is like an understanding at the same time as it being complex, or at the same time as it being something that will never change or that will never end. And you have to kind of watch someone be in that, and that's part of life too, and it's part of karma too. But yeah, like learning the hard way for some people, for some of us, or like in a kind of hot tiered way, from these unrequited things, and like learning of things, and their need to leave, or people's need to distance themselves, or people's need to leave our lives when a certain chapter ends, or like to be let go of as well. Some of us might be doing that in a kind of motherly way, like, you know, when the child moves out finally, type of thing. And also finally, yeah, things like grief, and like letting ourselves around this new moon ball, and kind of, but it's not like, again, to be stuck or emo in it, but to kind of refresh the spirit, because there's a lot of very promising and exciting and abundant stuff ahead. I really do feel I'm liking the omens generally of this new moon. Yeah, so let's refresh the spirit. Have a lovely week. It is Monday Moon Day here as I film, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.